So the name of this week's Torah portion and the actual Hebrew name of the book that opens this Shabbat is BaMidbar. It means in the desert. Somehow it gets translated as Numbers. Okay. The book of Numbers, or the book of in the desert. In the desert, BaMidbar. You know, it's uncanny sometimes how things just merge, how things just happen to really be part of one's experience. That happens sometimes. I go down to Oneg and somebody tells me, what you said tonight is exactly what I needed to hear. And I ask them, what did I say? And they tell me what I said. And I have no recollection having ever said that. But they heard what they came to hear, and you're going to probably hear what you came to hear. Which is why a long time ago I stopped worrying about whether what I was saying resonated with people, because everybody hears it differently. So I share this for me mostly. I'm just here to share what's going on. And what's going on is that I am in the desert right now. It's uncanny. The desert is really in my life where I find myself today. And maybe there's something about this image that this week we're opening this new book. And maybe it's a metaphor for me that a new book, a new chapter is opening in my life, and maybe I'm supposed to wander through the desert for a while. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. But I suspect that's the case. And the truth is, I love the desert. To me, the desert is nothing. There is no negative connotation to the desert. You know, it's just this gorgeous, wonderful space. In fact, I have profound connections with the desert. I spent a lot of time, many years, traversing physically the desert, living in Israel. And paradoxically, I have in my planning for my upcoming sabbatical, I've made plans already to visit the Sahara and get back into the Negev as well, as I will be traveling at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to actually even physically being in the desert, since it seems that it's what's opening. It's what's opening. I don't know what the desert conjures up for you when you think about being in that space. Actually, you don't have to go very far. Just go to Eastern Washington and spend some time there in the desert there. But there's a feeling that I have about the desert that resonates in a kind of nothingness, an emptiness. Like the desert is a place, at least for me, where there is nothing to hide, where there's nothing anyone owns. There's also nothing to lose. It's a space where you can really let go of whatever it is you pretend to be in the busyness of the non-desert part of our lives. There is a sense I have when I am in those kind of places, contemplating the vastness of the desert, that just helps me at least touch the smallness of my being, in the contrast of that. I feel the desert is a place where one is invited to break through, from the illusions, the mirages of certainty, and to discover really the lack of control that we have, to discover our true powerlessness in life. When you really shed everything. In fact, you shed everything. There's a real sense being in this kind of spaces, desert kind of places, that you can really surrender, let go into that nothingness, that you can really become naked in the face of your own life, stripped of all stories or things that you once thought were so important, all these ideas, concepts, viewpoints that you were so adamant in defending and being right about. That has no bearing in the desert at all. You lose all of your reasons for having reasons. It's truly liberating kind of a space. And also in the desert, there is silence. Because it's in the silence of our heart, in the silence of our soul, that the most subtle voices can be heard. The ones that are always drowned out by the inner noise or the outer noise, all our preoccupations, our goals, our to-do lists. In the desert, the silence allows that which can never really be heard in the cacophony of our busyness to finally be heard. And I think it's no mistake that the Hebrew language calls that space, the desert, called it midbar. Midbar. In English letters, you would spell it M-I-D-B-A-R. Midbar. It has the same roots in Hebrew as the word medaber. You can hear it, midbar, medaber. In Hebrew, there are no vowels, so you only have the consonants, and they're the same. Midbar, medaber, same consonant, same word, really. And medaber means that which speaks. Fascinating that our tradition named an absolute emptiness, that which speaks. Because I believe that was our ancestors' experience. And as we are in the story about to wander through the deserts, we finally can hear that which speaks. We finally can connect to the still small voice within us. But you can only do that after you let go of the clutter, when you let go of the noise, when you let go of the non-essential, when you turn off the loudspeakers and come to Shabbat, into that empty space, then you can really hear Midbar, that which always speaks. We're studying Maimonides, the Guide of the Perplexed, and is about, in the second book we are opening also this week, is about to teach us about that which speaks. I've mentioned that teaching before, and I'm always do it in a more of a modern time, that God has its own radio broadcast. And God is always broadcasting. Always. And each of us is gifted at birth a tuner. And it is our journey through life to tweak farther and farther, tweak the dial so that we can log onto God's frequency. Instead of, hard rock or whatever else we're filling our noisy lives with. And that's what Maimonides is saying. It's like each of us has to fine-tune, literally, and tweak our little dial, this little knob of life, to God's frequency, that we might be able to hear Midbar, that which always speaks, always talks, is always here. What our tradition called the still small voice in our heart that never stops whispering, I am. I've been part this almost a year now of this group, of this process of evolution of consciousness. And one of the teachings that was shared with us is about this U-shape process that all of us participate in. At the top of the U and going down to the lower part of the U, that section of our life is called letting go. Letting go. Right? The descending part of the U is called letting go. And that really resonates with this week's Torah portion. If you're going to step into the Midbar, if you're going to step into the desert, then this is an invitation to shed, to let go of all that non-essential stuff that clutters your mind, your life, your heart. And so the first step of the process is to let go, to become naked, in fact, to become empty. And then at the bottom of the U, it's called letting be. And that's when you're steeped in the desert, you're just sitting there, what I called earlier, the eye of the storm, kind of the same idea. You're sitting there, empty, and you just let everything be. Everything is exactly as it is. There is nothing that needs changing. There is nothing that needs to be any different, including yourself. Your past is exactly how your past was, and there's nothing needs changing about that. You are exactly who you are, and there's nothing that needs changing about that. This moment is exactly how this moment is, and there's nothing else that we need. There's nothing else to want. Life is exactly as it is right now. So you just let yourself be. There's something truly incredibly empowering to have to do nothing and to just let everything be. There is beautiful freedom in the desert when we let everything just be. We're no longer contracted, and we're no longer tight. We're no longer tightening. We are so wide open. Everything is as it is. Everyone is as they are. We can breathe finally and rest in the emptiness of this desert. And then the ascending part of the U is called letting come. But you can't figure that out until you've let go and you're sitting in that letting be space. And then there is this letting come. And this letting come is what I was just talking about. The midbar, the medaber. What is the still small voice whispering? Letting come is about making yourself available to be guided, to let go of needing to direct anything, but to step into more of a listening space. What is it you are telling me through my life? Source of being. What are you speaking through my life that needs doing, that needs tending, that needs caring? And the attitude for that is letting come. It's like a not knowing, but being available. So I feel that the desert, and maybe that's the space I am inhabiting in my life right now, is that space of letting go, letting be, letting come, letting go, letting be, letting come. So I don't know what book is opening for you in your life. Where are you in those 3 phases? Are you letting go? Are you letting be? Are you letting come? Where are you? And maybe different places in your life are in different timelines. But where is that space in you? Where is the midbar? Where is the desert? Which chapter do you need to close? Which chapters is yearning to be open? America said, in the desert, you can remember your name. And in our story, in the biblical story, that is exactly what the journey is about. In a desert, you can remember your name. And I know you're already singing it in your heart right now. Let it go. Because that is exactly what is revealed in the desert. Your own true name. And perhaps that is what you have to discover for yourself. Ken Yiratzon. Amen.